Hello, and welcome back to Shiksha Casa. Today, we're going to introduce you to a new unit about graphs, equations, and applications of sine functions. By the end of this unit, you will demonstrate that you understand something called periodic relationships, and specifically one called the sine function. And with this sine function, you're going to make connections between the numbers, the graphs of the sine function, and its algebraic representation. Plenty of specific skills that you're going to develop on the way there. You're also going to be able to identify and represent a sine function and solve problems that involve it, especially if those problems come up from the real world. Start off, think about this question. Pause the video here and ask yourself, what would you expect the temperature to be in the July that's coming up, or maybe even the January? Those are pretty easy to predict, right? No matter where in the world you are, you know, well, for me who's in Toronto, I know that July is pretty warm, so I'm probably going to expect about 28 degrees. And January is pretty cold, so I might expect minus 28 degrees. Temperatures are really easy to predict. And why is that? Pause the video here and think about that for a second. Well, hopefully you realize that when it comes to temperature, it really depends on the Earth's rotation around the sun. The Earth spins on its axis, but the North Pole and the South Pole sort of always end up facing the same relative direction. And at some point, when the North Hemisphere is pointed towards the sun, that's summer. And when the Southern Hemisphere is pointed towards the sun, that is summer in the South. Whereas the side that is facing away from the sun is winter. And that's why it's so much colder because it doesn't get as much sunlight. This is an example of something, of a phenomenon that is called cyclical, which means it happens in a cycle every period of time. And in this case, one period is 1 year because that's how long the Earth takes to fully orbit the sun. Every period is 1 year. And for any cyclical phenomenon, for every regular period of time, the same sort of situation repeats itself in a cycle. And there are many such situations in life that occur cyclically. This often really happens, most often, when an object is rotating or even swinging, sort of like a planet's orbiting a star. And what this means is the path of a point that is orbiting a center always forms a circle, just like so. Center that it is orbiting. And if it maintains its distance from that, it always creates, just like we see here, a circle. Now, if we take this point and we connect it to the center, well, obviously we are creating a line that represents the radius of the circle. And using this line, and if we use the vertical and horizontal lines that go through the center of the circle as well, you can even use this line as the hypotenuse of a right triangle. And this is how we will connect circles to triangles and relate it to trigonometry. In this unit, we will learn about the function f of x equals sine of x. And we'll see how this function helps us solve problems that involve objects that are rotating in a very specific pattern that we call sinusoidal relation. If you like this video, please like, rate, subscribe, and join our mailing list. And you can find this lesson as well as practice questions, solutions, handouts, and more on our storefront. Thanks and have a great day.